Good morning again. I'm in the middle of 30 reasons why following Jesus is the best decision I ever made. And this is harder than you think to get up every day and to do this. So it's something that God has asked me to do. At least I believe in my heart that He's asked me to do this. So I'm going to be committed and faithful to this. And I'm excited. 30 reasons. I could come up with 300 reasons. And it just depends on how little I divide them. Like I've made big categories and little ones. But today's is an interesting one, and it might even blow some people's minds. But one of the reasons, and again, 30 years ago is when I made the decision, August 3rd, 1989. So the 18th reason that I'm going to give today why following Jesus is the best decision I ever made is I learned how to read. Following Jesus helped me learn how to read. And I'm not even kidding. Some of you, I faked my way through high school, okay? Completely faked my way through high school. In fact, I took an individualized reading class. That was the only time I read a book cover to cover. The only time. I did book reports on books that I didn't read more than 3 or 4 pages of. And I did this all through high school, okay? I'm not saying it in a way that I'm proud of it. I'm actually very ashamed of it. And I'm kind of bummed out that somebody didn't catch this somewhere along the way and sit me down and teach me how to read. Because the problem is I didn't really learn how to read. And so reading was very, very difficult for me. And I have a scar on the back of my eye from looking at an eclipse in 6th grade. I burned the back of my eye, so I have a scar back there. So when I look at pages and I try to look at the words, it makes it very difficult, okay? So that combined with it just wasn't my thing, like reading comprehension was the worst. In fact, I'll be honest with you, I took one of those tests called the Iowa Battery Test where they figure out where you fit with everybody in the country and they try and rate your school, they try and rate your class. And I literally, on the reading comprehension, I was so embarrassed to do it that I had a comb in my pocket. Remember when we used to carry combs? Not me no more. But I had a comb in my pocket that I would flick it and it would spin, and I had a heads or a tails, and I determined all my answers doing that. I got 13. Which meant I was in the 13th percentile. Now, I think I might have done better than that if I'd actually tried it, but I was so embarrassed and so bad at reading comprehension that I didn't want to do it. And so fast forward, I gave my life to Christ. I was 23 years old. When I was 24, I had taken a year to try and get myself ready for Bible college. So I went to Bible college at age 24. And I had to write on my tests, there were several professors that on their tests or somewhere in their class, you had to write yes or no if you read all of the texts that were assigned to you. And I had to write no every single time because there was no way that I could get through them. Now, I was getting better and better at reading because I was actually doing it, because I found a purpose in my life. I found a reason that I needed to read. But some of that stuff was so deep, it was blowing my mind, literally blowing my mind. And I remember the first book that gave me a hunger for reading. And it was years later. I was in ministry, okay? I was 30 years old. And I went to a conference, and John Maxwell was one of the speakers, and he came out and spoke about this brand new book that was coming out called the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And I'm like, man, that book sounds great. So I bought the book, and I had been buying books now because I knew I needed to read. It just was very difficult. But I started reading that book, and it hit me right where I live. Like right where I live. Like I realized at that time that leadership was something that I loved, that I craved. And as he described it, like he wrote so well and his stuff made such good sense and he illustrated it so well that I just couldn't help but read it. And in 1 week, I devoured his book. Went back and read it a second time. In 1 week, I read a book cover to cover. Now, I know people that read a book every week. They just read a new book every single week. That's not me. That's still not me. But I read about 15 to 18 books a year now. And I've learned the art of audio reading, which is awesome. I really like that because I can read it at 1.5 speed or 1.25 speed. But the Lord, following the Lord, helped me learn how to read. And I want to give just a quick scripture, if I can find it. Here we go. It's Proverbs 18:4 says, "Wise words are like deep waters. Wisdom flows from the wise like a bubbling brook." If you can find authors and people that write articles and books and that kind of thing that have wisdom, then it's amazing how you just soak it up. But I know you found that to be true. But I'm telling you, for me, it didn't happen until I became a follower of Christ. And in that year, as I was preparing to go to Bible college, I was learning how to read His Word. Reading little bits and little pieces. I read through a couple books in here. But I thank Jesus. I thank Him every day because readers become leaders. And if you want to become a leader, you want to become a better leader, you want to become better at whatever you do, then find the right people to read. But whatever you do, make this a part of your everyday reading. I read this every single day, and it's my daily bread. It's my daily bread. I love it. So I hope this helps someone today, but mostly I just wanted to tell you I'm thankful I learned how to read. Tomorrow's day 19, so God bless you. Have an amazing day.